Welcome back to the Malaysia Money Matters show. It's the 24th of December 25.
Good to be here.
Today, we are taking a deep dive into, well, this incredible financial momentum that seems to be building across Malaysia.
It really is. It feels like a perfect storm of confidence.
Right. It's this powerful convergence of strong foreign capital, proactive local hedging, and then you have this critical regulatory sharpening. It's all sort of setting the stage for 2026.
It's a global story, but it's playing out right here, locally. You have international money seeing value, and our own big companies making smart, strategic bets on the ringgit.
Okay, so let's start there. Let's unpack the biggest corporate news, starting on the M&A front.
Let's do it.
Japan's Amova Asset Management has signed a deal to acquire a controlling stake in AHAM Asset Management. They're boosting their ownership to nearly 98%.
And this is a huge statement. I mean, AHAM is one of Malaysia's largest fund managers.
Absolutely massive.
Yeah, they're handling over, what, RM 100 billion? So for Amova to come in and take this near total control deal that values AHAM at around RM 3 billion, it just screams confidence in the Malaysian financial ecosystem. And it fits their plan to expand in Asia, especially with Shariah-compliant funds.
Okay, so that's foreign confidence. Now for a major domestic move. Petronas gas. They just prepaid US $173.64 million.
Or RM 705.67 million.
Right. For 18 years of Pengerang LNG Jetty fees all the way through 2044. And the fascinating part is the timing, isn't it?
Oh, the timing is absolutely strategic. It happened right as the ringgit hit a 5-year high of 4.0645 per US dollar.
So they're locking in rates.
Exactly. Petronas Gas is locking in decades of service costs today. It's a massive corporate hedge designed to slash long-term exposure to any future currency swings.
Smart. Okay, moving over to construction. Kimlin Core secured 3 new contracts in Johor, totaling a huge RM 617.73 million.
Service departments, houses, shop offices.
And the completion targets go all the way out to late 2028.
That's job security right there. This win gives a huge boost to their construction order book, which was already at, what, RM 4.2 billion last quarter?
So stable earnings for years.
That's it. And that kind of activity signals strong continued development.
And with that development comes a need for new solutions. Which brings us to Solarvest Holdings. They're acquiring a 22% stake in Solar District Cooling Group for just under RM 42 million.
And here's where you see a really strategic pivot. Solarvest is moving beyond just solar panels. They're getting into solar thermal systems, building management.
The high-value stuff.
Exactly. They got the stake at a good discount, and since Solar District Cooling is involved in big government projects, this really positions Solarvest for a much more profitable future.
Okay, let's shift gears from corporate moves to the regulatory landscape. The Malaysia Competition Commission, MyCC, they issued a proposed decision against 6 firms.
Right. This was over alleged bid rigging, linked to about RM 7.3 million in Klong prison procurement.
So what's the impact here?
It just highlights MyCC's vigilance. They're really cracking down on anything that distorts competition, especially cartels in public procurement. It's about making sure taxpayer money is spent fairly.
And sticking with legal matters, the High Court had a major ruling on former Prime Minister Najib Razak's house arrest claim.
Yes, it ruled that the so-called royal addendum was invalid and unenforceable.
So he remains in jail.
He does. And the Attorney General's chambers was very clear. This doesn't weaken the ruler's pardon powers. If anything, it strengthens them by clarifying that the powers have to be exercised constitutionally through the Pardons Board.
So reinforcing procedure.
Exactly.
And one more from the courts. The High Court granted a temporary stay on the rule requiring private clinics to display medicine prices.
Yes, a stay until February 2026. This just maintains the status quo. It gives the medical associations time to argue their case without clinics facing penalties.
Okay, let's zoom out. Let's connect all this to the global picture, because that's what's driving the ringgit. U.S. GDP grew 4.3% in the third quarter.
Which is strong, and a strong U.S. economy usually helps global growth. But the real story, the huge macro shift, is the U.S. dollar itself.
It's weakening.
It's on track for its worst year since 2017, down over 8%. And that weakness, driven by everyone expecting the Fed to ease policy next year, is a massive tailwind for economies like ours. Public Investment Bank is now forecasting the ringgit could even hit 4.00 per US dollar in 2026.
So tying this all together, what does this mean for you, for our listeners?
Us. Well, the convergence is clear.
A strengthening ringgit, big foreign M&A, and positive growth show Malaysia is attracting serious international investment. And at the same time, local firms are hedging smartly.
Right. And this raises an important question, I think, for businesses and investors. The ringgit is appreciating fast, which is great for importers.
For raw materials, machinery.
Yes.
Duh.
But are local businesses moving quickly enough to actually use this window of currency strength before this whole favorable macro trend, inevitably shifts?
A lot to consider as we move into the new year. Don't miss our next deep dive. Please subscribe to the Malaysia Money Matters podcast for more essential insights. Hey there, thanks for tuning in. If you would like a deeper dive into all the investment opportunities from today's news, subscribe to my newsletter at moneymatters.substack.com. I will be sharing a deeper analysis of the key investment opportunities from today's news, including what makes these opportunities stand out and how they fit into the broader market trends. By subscribing to the Malaysia Money Matters newsletter, you will also get exclusive insights on my watch list and portfolio and fundamental reports on Malaysian listed companies.